Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Pemko number S88GR. This is their silicone seal. This is what the S88 will look like when it arrives to you. And the S88 is, as far as I know, might be the original teardrop-shaped self-adhesive gasketing that will allow you to be compliant with those openings that are smoke and draft seal fire rated requirement. And this is what it looks like. That's the S88, that teardrop seal. Now this happens to be the GR, the S88GR, that's gray. Available in C for clear, available in D for the dark bronze, GR for gray, tan, TAN for tan, and then W for white. Forgive me, I missed one. BL, I was searching for it. BL for black, naturally black. So black, clear, gray, black, clear, dark bronze, gray, and white. Those are the colors that you'll get this in. Available in lots of different roll lengths. This just happens to be an 18-foot roll of the material. Client for this one has 4-foot wide by 7-foot doors. 7 plus 7 is 14, plus 4 at the header is 18. That's where that's coming from on these openings. Or they're 3'6", actually, wide doors. The S88 is that typical common classic teardrop shape that is going to have a 1/2-inch dimension here, 1/4-inch dimension here. It's going to be self-adhesive. Peel away protective adhesive on the back. I've installed this material and I have found it to be a very, very effective, not only for what it's rated for from a fire rated perspective, but I've installed the material just because it's cheap and easy to put on when I want to mitigate the transmission of dust and sound through an opening. More about that in a moment. This material is available as anti-ligature, so meaning it can come with a perforation in it. If that I tried to pull this apart and break it, if you substituted the S in the part number for P88GR, it would give you the perforated version, and it would tear apart quite easily. Therefore, preventing is the point of someone from harming themselves by using it, by pulling it off the door and using it to harm themselves. Roll lengths 17, 18, 20, 21, 25, 30 feet. 204-foot lengths, 510-foot roll lengths. I don't know that all the colors are available in all of those sizes. Or additional sizes, it would be more appropriate. You can also order it in a 100-meter roll length. It's available in all those sizes and sometimes a 100-meter roll length as well. Okay, now this material is adhesive-backed fire smoke gasketing. If you're doing a project that requires a smoke seal, this would be a compliant material for you to install. Made of silicone, high-temperature silicone, effective between extreme temperature ranges, which is what silicone is known for. The seal begins compressing at 1/4 inch and compresses up to, or down to, I should say, a 1/16 of an inch. So it will close quite well, even if you had a tighter than average gap. Self-extinguishing and non-toxic, unaffected by sunlight, ozone, and ultraviolet rays, impervious to fungus and mildew, will not deteriorate under normal exposure. It does have a shelf life. You don't want to order this material and know that it's going to sit on the shelf for more than 6 months. Don't order it if it's going to sit on the shelf. It's not the silicone, it's the adhesive on the back. And you'd want to obviously store it at common room temperature. Now, like I said earlier, I've installed this material for its intended purpose, and then just to mitigate. A building where you've got a single demising wall between a shop setting and then a showroom setting, let's say a pair of doors, great door to add additional gasketing to help retard the transmission of sound and dust from coming into your showroom space from the shop. When both the doors are opened, air seems to come through the building quite aggressively, and that's why you would want to possibly add this material just to mitigate the problem. And frankly, you know, anywhere where you need an adhesive item, meaning easy to install yet effective, inexpensive to mitigate a problem, this could be a good solution. I've sold this to people who've put it on doors, obviously. Also to people who've put it on the lower sash of a double hung window just to help seal where they're installing an in-the-window air conditioning unit. Lots of, I've had people install it on their car doors as well just to help mitigate air or water coming through. There are links below this video to the product brochure, which is a summary of what we've discussed, and it shows the sister products related to the S88. If you want the most common one, the S88 is certainly it, but there are variations of this material. Then there's a link to the cut sheet, which is really just a dimensional drawing from the Pemko catalog that we've already discussed. There's a link to a document called Template, which is the identical document. Then there is the installation instructions, and those are included with your material. Now, the first thing to take note of, in the rest of this video will be installation related, is that it doesn't install in the same place at all three sides of the opening. The hinge side, when you look at the installation instructions, the material will mount with the bulb faced towards the face of the stop and the adhesive on the rabbet itself. And it's the same way for the header as well, because all you want to do is just compress this. However, when it comes to the installation of the material on the strike jam, it's actually the same way that they're showing this applied. I have seen it installed. Yeah, okay, they do list it as alternative positioning. I was going to say, I think they changed that. You can also install it on the stop face for the hinge and hinge jam, strike jam, and header. But I would, if you're going to mount it on the face of the stop, I would only do that on the strike jam and the header. I would install it on the rabbet on the hinge jam is where I would end up putting it, because you just want the door to make contact. You don't want it to, and then compress. You don't want it to push and pull against this at all, would be the intent. The installation instructions that we have here also go on to talk about, I'm going to remove it from the packaging. They also go on to discuss other important aspects of the material, because there are additional important aspects. First of all, you're going to get a decal that you'll be able to apply on the frame that will certify that the material is compliant. You'll definitely want to install that. You don't want to throw these away and have the inspector fail the installation because it's not included. The front of the card shows the typical positioning, as does much of what's on the back. However, the back of the card also states installation instructions, and we'll go through it quickly. Pre-cut the hinge jam, strike jam, and header pieces to fit before installing. Do not install as one continuous piece. Install the jam gaskets first and then the header gaskets last. So what they're saying is measure and then pull off enough of this material to the proper length, cut it, and position it, dry fit it to make sure that it is the proper length. Do that on all three sides. Do not run it as a continuous piece, because those inside corners, it will fail in that installation. Step 2, remove approximately 24" of the backing from the adhesive gasketing strip. Be careful not to touch the adhesive or drag the adhesive on the ground. Remove remainder of backing as gasket is applied to the frame. They're saying, obviously, pull 24" of this off at a time and then work it onto where you're going to place it. I don't pull that much off because I don't want that much of it exposed to the atmosphere prior to putting it on. Before we talk about prior to putting it on, there is information here that states the frame must be thoroughly clean before installing, in fact. Thoroughly clean the frame with the enclosed cleaning towelette to remove grease, it says. It is so important that the frame is clean, utterly free of dust and debris, that they include a towelette. If the frame has been recently painted, the paint must be fully cured. Any of that that's not compliant will cause a failure in the installation. Some hospitals have wax or antibacterial cleanser buildup. As an alternative or substitute cleanser, use isopropyl rubbing alcohol. Mineral spirits and other petroleum-based products should not be used. When you think the frame is clean, go back and do it one more time. The first time I installed it, I did a good job making it clean, but I didn't do the proper job. Sure enough, the next day, all the material was off, and I had to start all over with brand new material. When you're installing this material, the frame must be cured for 5 to 7 days. You must be dealing with room temperature conditions as well. I won't just read the installation instructions, I'll just summarize them. Okay, application tips and warnings. I can tell you from firsthand experience that what you do not want to do, and that comes back to the 24-inch length exposed, don't stretch it at all. If you do, it will want to resume its natural point of elasticity and break the bond of the adhesive. I've done that in the past as well. You just want to apply substantial pressure, pushing straight down, and not rolling it down like you would if your finger was a roll pin. Okay, so you don't want to do that whatsoever. If you do have a detachment, you can quickly, in a short amount of time, press it back down. So be mindful that that's permissible. And you'll want to check the installation 2 to 3 hours after it being set and make sure that everything works properly, or that there's been no loss of contact of the material whatsoever. Adhesion takes a delayed set. Immediate removal and resetting can be done if it's done immediately after initial placement. You can pull it off and push it back down. Time and patience will allow you to get it installed very straight. I've seen this material installed quite wavy, and it's because someone's doing a very rushed job, not being careful to make it look proper. With all those straight lines that you have on the frame, the stop, the rabbit, the face, things of that nature, you'll really detect if this is wavy at all. So time and patience. Now, back to the installation. Step 3, install jam pieces by positioning the gasket on the door frame rabbet as illustrated. So we've talked about where to locate the material. And then again, do not stretch it. Put the jams on first, then the header piece on last. The ends of gaskets should overlap and fit above the jam pieces. So the ends of the gaskets should overlap and fit above the jam pieces. So in those instances where you have the ability where the jam runs all the way up to the header, let that run long. And then bring your header up to make contact with it. So you have technically a little bit of overlap there, I suppose, is what the point is. But that's how the material has to be installed, because that's how it's been tested. Header piece last. Once installed, apply firm pressure along the piece surface to ensure proper adhesion. The tips really are this. A completely clean frame. Number 1, don't stretch the pieces. Number 2, if you do all that, you're good. Install it where it's supposed to be installed, but if you don't stretch it and you have a clean frame, you will have complete success in this regard. Lots of information down below this video indicating that it's sound tested, air seal rated, smoke rated, fire rated, certified by the Builders Hardware Manufacturers Association, and Green Guard certified as well. Smoke gasketing, draft, seal. If you want to just mitigate something that is not fire required, fire compliant required, great material, inexpensive, available, things of that nature. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Pemko products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog, where you can pull up all the Pemko material available. And if you have more than an occasional need for weather stripping, you will certainly want to familiarize yourself with Pemko, because their name is quite synonymous with this material. I like Pemko for a number of reasons. First of all, they have the most broadest spectrum of available products from a single manufacturer when compared to anyone. And plus, they're just nice people to deal with, and that's important, certainly, as well. Any questions on the Pemko S88GR, teardrop-shaped silicone seal, or any other Pemko product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.